Hello, we're going to listen to John Procida in Queens, one of the authors of the tax law in 1980 that affects us still today. And it's an honor to hear him and listen to what he has to say.
Our next speaker is John Procida. Yeah, you can try that mic also.
Hello? Good. My name is John Procida. I'm with the Bound Park Civic Association, which is basically Flushing Whitestone. I'm also a member of what was an organization called SCAR. I don't know if any of you know that or remember that, but it was about 38 years ago. SCAR was a state coalition against reassessment. And in 1975, there was a lawsuit given by a lawyer named Hellerstein, and he took it up to the state Supreme Court, and he won. And in winning, it was determined that the method of assessing property in New York State was not good. And so the state imposed upon us that we had to change. Well, the first idea that came out was 100% reassessment, which is an absolute disaster and should never, ever happen. And our organization of 1,400 civic associations across the state fought that. A number of assemblymen lost their jobs because they were for 100% assessment, okay? Now, one thing I don't know people understand, the assessment of property is controlled by the state. The tax rate is controlled by the city. The biggest problem we got is the city keeps spending more money and more money and more money, and who's going to pay for it? We, the homeowners or the taxpayers.
God bless you, John. That's so true.
Or the property owners, let's be precise. Okay? The system, I sat in with Speaker Stanley Fink and a couple other people and wrote this law, which is, by the way, S7000A/A9200. The law is a good law. I've heard people say that everything is broken. It's not a good law. 100% of such assessment would be, yes, a way to make everything even. But if you did it, you would cause a lot of disasters. People would lose their homes. All of a sudden, their taxes could double and triple. Because, you know, when you talk about assessing property, everybody's talking about residential here. But it also includes commercial. And when you lump commercial and residential and do 100% assessment, taxes on commercial stuff will go down, the residential will go up to pick up the difference, and we get killed. Now, want to go 100%? Go to Trenton, New Jersey. They just went to 100% assessment. One lady, for example, had a house that she was paying about $6,000 a year in rent, in taxes. It went up to $40,000. Other people who were paying $5,000 went up to $12,000 and $15,000. That's 100% assessment if you want to do it quickly and correctly, but you're going to kill people by doing it. The system we came up with was a system of adjustment. The 20% rule, the 6% in 1 year, 20% in 5 years. It was a method of adjusting because prior to that, incidentally, it was worse. It was when they built the house, they assessed it and they never changed that. Okay, so.
Did you hear that? When they built the house, it was assessed and it was never changed. That's amazing. That explains why de Blasio's house is assessed lower, because it was built earlier. And it just seems so arbitrary. I agree with John. We can't lump commercial and residential together. But within Class 1, we can even things out, I think. But continue.
At any rate, I believe that the law is still a good law. And the only thing I will admit, that the co-ops fell through a crack. They should be really involved with the 1 or 2, 3 family houses. One other point I want to make strongly about. In that law, it says the city cannot tax the 1, 2, and 3 family homes more than 15% of the city budget. I would like to see if that's being obeyed. I doubt it very much. There were 4 sectors, and each sector was given a certain percentage of the city budget that they had to pay. And the 1, 2, and 3 family houses are supposed to pay no more than 15% of the budget. Does any of you people can tell me if that's being obeyed?
I wish, John, it's interesting that no one can really answer him. No one even talks directly to John. God bless you, John. But if it was 15% of the budget, that would be a good law. But I think it's 15% of the class share or base proportion. I think what the law actually says is Class 1 pays 15% of the property tax, not of the budget, because the budget is bigger, has other components in it. But it would be nice if it was 15% well, actually, maybe not. That might not be a good thing. But it should be 15% of what we agree on should be the budget, not whatever the mayor wants to be the budget.
You're the city.
That actually makes sense.
Yes.
Is it being done? Yes. You're sure?
Well, the person who said yes, we don't even know who it was, but it's not 15% of the budget. Property tax is 30% of the spending, but I think it's 15% of the property tax, the total property tax.
I don't think it's being done. And matter of fact, I've been thinking of having a class action suit to sue the city for not obeying the state law.
God bless you, John. Let's all get on this class action suit. I would agree with
And
that.
I don't think it's going.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I do not think it's
I must say, you're the first person to come testify in support of 7008.
Actually, no, there's some snide comment from the chair there, I think from the CUNY chair. A lot of people support S7000A. It's just the way it's been implemented. 6% made sense back in 1980 as a limit, an upper limit, right, when inflation was whatever, to 15, 13, whatever percentage. But now it's near zero. So 6% increases makes no sense. And the law says a maximum. It doesn't say a minimum. It says a maximum. So it could be 6% or inflation, whichever is lower, just like California. Anyway, California is 2% or inflation, the rate of inflation, whichever is lower. That's what it should be. God bless you, John. And let's continue the discussion. People should sign up. Go to tony.brooklyncoop.org and sign up for the mailing list. Do whatever you can. Go to Twitter, post. There's a Twitter account called Tax History. Follow that. Try your best to speak your mind. What John said about spending is exactly right. Somebody should be looking at spending. Look at our other videos and see what's happening with spending. We have a spending season coming up now, right? It's for 6 months. They're going to review all the agencies. Last year, literally, one of the agencies, health and hospitals, gives a piece of paper and it has $6 billion written on it, and that's basically it. That's the detail. We're going to spend $6 billion. And, Chair Drum or Councilman Drum says something. He says, well, I have to take you to task on this. And then what do? Vote yes, approved. And what's the point in having take you to task if you don't take them to task? There has to be oversight. People have to get involved. If you wait, nothing's going to happen. Peace out.